So I'm using Jackson's Art Supplies masking fluid. It's blue masking fluid, and I'm using my cotton buds or cotton swabs, and I'm just tapping the masking fluid onto the sort of main blossom tree here, and it's actually to mask out the light areas, to protect that. So it's going to be really masking out the white of the paper. You need to let masking fluid dry naturally, and once it's dry you can paint over the top and it will reserve all those light areas. So as you can see there, I've masked out some of the blossom in the distant trees as well there. So I'm going to allow my painting to dry naturally. Once it's dry, I'm going to mix up some pinks. You can use permanent rose, opera rose, alizarin crimson, quinacridone magenta, whatever you fancy. And I've actually added a little bit of yellow as well to some of the pink there to create a warmer pink shade as well. So I'm going to use my cotton swabs now, dip it into some of the pink and just print these marks here. So I've used an elastic band to bring a few of them together here to create several marks all at once. It makes it so much easier and so much fun as well. And you can vary the colours, pale pink, a little bit darker here and there, and maybe the warmer pink with the yellow added. So I'm trying to be as random as I can, and just to create all of this detail, which makes painting blossom so much easier and so much more fun. I'm using kind of the side of the swabs here now, just to create some of the sort of branches and the little blossom on the branches in the sky area there as well. So I'm just using a very dilute pink now, painting wet on dry with my size 8 brush, the distant blossom trees, keeping it really pale as it is in the photograph. Adding a tiny bit of blue there, cerulean blue, to that pink to create some shadow underneath the blossom in the distance there. And I'm using my cotton buds again to go in and tapping away that warmer sort of pinky shade there. I'm just using my spritzer bottle now just to wet this main blossom tree here and the distant ones there. And I'm using some crimson Brusho, any pink will do, and I'm just taking the little push pin I had at the top there, which has got a little hole, and I'm just tapping the drum there to release some of the pigment through the hole onto the damp surface. Remember, with Brusho, less is more. You only need a small amount, and I'm just sort of really tapping it in the left hand side there, leaving the middle and those distant blossom trees without any Brusho on. I've mixed up some cerulean blue there, and I'm wetting the sky with my size 14 round brush with just clean water, and I'm going to paint the sky wet into wet with just that cerulean wash there. It's not so much like that in the photograph, that colour, but I thought I'd give it a little bit more colour. So here goes with the cerulean, just tickling that on sort of in the spaces of the blossom tree there as well. Remember, I've got masking fluid there, so I'm protecting some of my light areas there. So I'm painting on quite a pale wash using this size 14 brush, working my way down to the horizon. And now I've mixed up a slightly thicker, creamier cerulean blue, painting it damp into wet, still with my size 14 brush. So you've got those stronger colours at the top, and this creates depth in your painting. And now I'm using a paper towel to lift off some of the white clouds there, the imaginary white clouds, and it creates a little bit of atmosphere, and it's really easy to do. I'm using my size 14 brush and I'm wetting all of the grass area with some clean water. And what I'm doing now is just painting on some of those pale pink colours there, pink with a touch of yellow, just to create that lovely sort of pinky path where all the blossom have fallen there, keeping it quite pale in the distance as well, and just tickling a little bit of that pink on the more the grassy areas left and right. I've swapped now to my size 8 brush just to paint some smaller marks and details here and there. I've just rinsed my brush there, and I'm just diluting some of those marks as well there, just paling them back, blending them into the grassy area, and dropping in a little bit of stronger pink now, damp into damp. I thought it'd be quite nice to have a little spatter as well. Spattering's lovely for creating texture. So I've fully loaded my brush and with some pink paint, and I'm just tapping it in the middle of the brush, holding the brush really firmly to allow the pigment to fly onto that sort of tree area and in the foreground as well. So I'm mixing up some colours for the grass, using lemon yellow and phthalo turquoise. For alternative colours, see the description below. But I'm actually painting this damp into wet really, in these spaces is. So I don't want to paint it on top of the pink paint, I want it in the gaps. And so do leave some gaps when you're painting your pink in the first stage. But using my size 8 brush now, I'm just painting this stronger green, so I've added a little bit more blue to that colour, and it really brings that foreground or middle ground forward. And I've sort of paled it and added a little bit more yellow as I go towards the distance there to create more depth. You have lighter sort of tonal values there, so it doesn't come forward. So I'm just softening and blending there, mixing up a creamier, darker green now. So thicker paint, and just painting some of the shadows going through the trees here and making the marks smaller as it goes off into the distance. I've mixed up a slightly creamier bright green here using that blue and yellow, and just painting damp into damp in the foreground and middle ground here, trying to leave some of the pink coming through those gaps as well. I'm using some table salt now. I'm going to sprinkle it on my painting where it's wet or damp, and this will absorb some of the paint and create some lovely light textures once it's dry. I'm using a twig straight from the garden. I've sharpened it with a pencil sharpener. I'm just sort of manoeuvring some of this pink paint here and Brusho to show some smaller branches and twigs. I'm using a little bit more Brusho here, and I'm tapping it into the damp foreground to finish off this stage of the painting. I'm going to allow my painting to dry naturally to allow the salt to work. So as you can see there, the salt's created some lovely textures, especially on the grasses. I'm using some burnt sienna here and painting in the tree trunks. And I'm just painting this wet on dry with my size 4 brush. And now I'm actually adding a little bit of Paynes grey to the burnt sienna, and I'm painting this damp into damp onto the left side of the tree as the light is coming from the right. So you'll get shadows on the left as well on the ground, which is what I'm painting now with that same colour, and then softening with a damp brush. So I'm using this darker colour and just painting some of the branches in here with my size 4 brush, wet on dry. And I'm going to resist painting too much detail. I want to keep it really simple. I've actually added some green, some of the green I mixed earlier, to the burnt sienna to create some really nice natural looking colours. Some of the branches that are nearest to the sky have got more of a green colour to them, and I'm going to paint some little leaves as well on there, wet on dry, with that lovely limey green colour I made earlier with the lemon yellow and the phthalo turquoise. Maybe a touch of quinacridone gold as well to warm them up. So it really adds a little bit of life to this tree, and creating and painting these small details here and there. I'm just painting some shadows now, just sort of separating some of those blossom trees in the distance, keeping it still very pale. And I'm adding a touch more pink now to this right hand side here, just to give a little bit more interest in the distance without bringing it forward, so it's lovely and pale. And just adding a little bit of dark now to the tree trunks in the middle distance here, using a watered down burnt sienna and the Paynes grey, and also painting the cast shadow as well of the tree here in the middle distance. And as you go into the distance with those smaller trees, just sort of smaller marks and paler washes will create depth in your painting. I thought it'd be quite nice just to sort of mark out that path, more so than the photograph, with a very pale pink with a touch of ultramarine there. And I'm spattering some green now in the foreground, and I'll also spatter a little bit of that pink to give some more textured blossom marks in the foreground and middle ground. I think it's a good idea now to allow my painting to dry again, and once it's absolutely dry, and you must make sure it's dry, you can then remove your masking fluid. I'm using a paper towel to remove my masking fluid, and what I'm doing now is I'm just finessing, adding a few more darks using my size 4 brush just on the left side of the trees there, just to make sure I've got those shadows put in there, and also marking out the path wet on dry with a mixture of the Paynes grey and the pink. And I'm just painting some smaller tree trunks in the distance with some shadows there that I missed out earlier, and just painting a few more shadows just underneath the canopy of those blossom trees there, and then blending with a clean damp brush so there's lots of light on top there. I'm going back with my cotton buds here and just tapping into that damp surface in those distant trees with this pale pink, and I've decided to give those distant blossom trees a little spatter with some permanent permanent rose with my size 8 brush. And if you've lost your light, you can add some white to the pink. And what I'm doing now is I'm really loading that brush with the permanent rose and the white gouache and spattering that lighter colour. I'm using the cotton swabs again with some of the pink and the white, and I'm just tapping in on some of those outside branches there, just a few more blossom marks there, wet on dry, just to add just that little bit more detail and to pull the tree away from the sky, and this will really make your painting look more 3D. So I've removed the framing tape, so you've got a really nice white border, and you can assess to see if you need to do any more to your painting, but I think I'll leave it there for now. I really hope you enjoy this tutorial. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments section below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel where you'll get updates of my latest tutorials. And if you'd like to get access to exclusive tutorials and to support my YouTube channel, why not think about joining my Patreon membership? You will get access to downloadable outline sketches, and the tutorials are ad-free. Thank you so much for watching. Happy painting. Bye for now.